Chris Cruz, Palomar Shakino motivational speaker. This is Talking in Traffic. And yesterday I was talking to my wife, and she says, Chris, you know, all anyone ever sees is you talking in traffic, you know, and it's only about a minute to 2 minutes. You never get a chance to tell your story. You never get a chance to tell them and relate and to let people know who you are, where you came from, what you come from, you know, what you grew out of, and all they see is just where you are now and your little tie and stuff. And I'm like, okay. That may be true, because it's going to take more than 2 minutes to explain my whole situation, my whole story. But I'll give you a sneak peek to whenever I go out and I do my speaking engagements. I do introduce myself, and you know, I'm like, hey, what's going on, crowd? It's Chris. Y'all see me? What up? Yeah. Okay, whatever. So then after the stand ovation goes down, you know what I'm saying, there's the fireworks. It's crazy. It's wild. But don't think I was looking at me. But I'm pretty sure they're looking at me because I'm looking at the camera. They're like, why is he looking at the camera, not the road? What is he doing? Oh, I'm going to call 911. But growing up, I grew up in Houston and in the Heights area, Houston Heights, off 22nd Street. And my dad used to work for Halliburton, and he worked in the oil field. And as a matter of fact, offshore in the oil rig. And at 2.5 years old, I lost my pops. The oil rig busted down, and he saved 6 people before unfortunately drowning. And going back for a supervisor, and he just didn't come back up. And that was my dad. My dad was a strong swimmer, strong person, and apparently a hero to 6 people. And to 7, really. I mean, he is a hero. So growing up, I did not know my dad. I didn't know who he was, and I mean, only growing up now, I hear stories about him. But and my mom remarried. She remarried, and I think just a couple years later on, and the person who she married, no, I didn't know any different, because I didn't know who my dad was. I have no recollection of who he was. And so the person who she married was not was not a good fit. Let me say that. The reason why I say that is because there was a lot of turmoil in the home. You know, there was a lot of fights, late night fights. There was a lot of beating my mom up, and I would close my eyes as tight as I can, and when he would bust in my room and tell me to get up and everything else, I would act like I'm asleep, because I did not want to hear or see anything. I didn't want to be a part of that. And sometimes I was dragged out of bed, sometimes I was just left alone. But being in that environment is not a place I wish anyone to be in. To be a hostile home environment, full of alcoholism, and just full of mentally, you know, bringing each other down, fighting, physically fighting. You know, I remember one time in middle school, lots of times in middle school, my mom would come and pick me up. She wore these big old sunglasses, and the reason why is because she was hiding the black eyes that she had. And it's really hard to see my mom go through that. And I just did not understand why she would put herself through something like that day in and day out. Now, having kids of my own, I know that I put myself through a certain situation, and the reason why I did it was because of my kids, and so I could say that's the reason why she did it. So growing up, man, I would constantly not be home, because I did not want to be in that environment. And I found other ways to do stuff. I ran the streets and had, you know, just riding bikes, you know, stuff like that. I didn't run the streets like stealing cars and stuff. That was later on, which I got out of. But I'm just saying that it was an environment I didn't want to be in. And so I grew up out of that, and at age 15, I got kicked out of my my house because my stepbrother was treating my mom bad and talking back to her and stuff. And as a big brother, and that's my mom, what I'm saying? As a big brother, I'm like, that's not right. Don't do that. And apparently he told his dad, and his dad came to me and told me, you're a bully. Picked me up and said, how's this feel? And he threw me outside and more or less kicked me out. So I was kicked out of my house. 15 years old. All I had was just my bike, so I took my bike and I went to about a block and a half down the road, and I just sat on the steps. As a matter of fact, I remember it's a step of some. I thought it was just a regular building. I'm trying to find out it was a church, but I just cried and I cussed. I cussed my dad out at the church steps. I was cussing him out, and crying, and I did not know what to do. I went to my grandma's house, and I just told her, "Can I live with you?" And she said, "Yeah." She didn't ask anything. She just said yes. So from 15 to 23, maybe, I lived with her, and it was awesome. But I would still see my brothers and sisters who lived at my house, at my old house, my mom's house, and they would go through a lot of stuff, and it was hard to see them go through that. Very hard. And my mom asked me to move back in, thinking things would change, or maybe he wouldn't, or to spend the night, maybe he wouldn't do certain things. And I said, no, I'm not going to go back to that environment, because I do not want to subject myself to a place where I know that I'd be put down, that I would be mentally just be harmed, or physically, period, anyway. I didn't want to go to school with black eyes, and I definitely didn't want to have be told that I was trash, or that I was good for nothing, and it was just not a place I wanted to be. So my whole life I protected myself. For that reason, I took myself out of situations that caused me harm, and I lifted myself up when nobody would do it. Nobody patted me on the back. Nobody told me, Chris, you're better than that. Chris, you are. You're worth more. You more than gold. Your life is gonna be something. No one told me anything like that. The only thing that I knew is that this got to be better, and that I deserved better. That's all I knew. And so I did what I could, and my sense of humor came in because I didn't want to be at school. I get bullied too. I got bullied at school too, and I just try to make them laugh. Like, you want to fight me? You gotta hurt your hand. You know what I'm saying? You don't hurt your hand on me, on this right here. And make them laugh and stuff, and talk about the mamas. I don't know. Maybe that's what got me in a fight, is talking about their mamas. But this nose was not inherited. This nose was blessed upon me by a couple of fights. But it's been a long struggle of me building myself up from a broken home, from not knowing who my dad was, to coming out of a domestic violence home full of alcoholism, and I had to break free from that, and I had to have my mindset on better things. And growing up, no matter where I am, I know that I deserve better, and I deserve more, and there's more to get in my life. And I'm not through with this journey. I'm not through with my my goal. My goal is never complete, because there's always someone to reach, and there's always someone to uplift, and to say that you deserve better. And not only do you deserve better, but the people who you work for should know that you are a person of value, and that old school stuff works. Respect, chivalry, honor. Those things mean something. And when you are a kid, you don't know much about it. But when you grow up, you say, man, I need to carry myself in such a way that's going to bring about the best in myself and others. I'm not trying to be a millionaire, a TV star, a movie star, hood rich. What I'm trying to do is encourage and uplift people who have nobody to encourage them. And look at me today. Look at me. I'm in a freaking nice suit. You know, it's crazy. Like, how did I get from getting pro wings at Payless to wearing nice suits from Men's Warehouse? You know what I'm saying? Men's Warehouse. That's a plug. That's a free suit. That's a free suit, player. There's a lot more to my story, and the reason why I did not want to share a lot of this stuff, especially, you know, being my mom's new husband beating up on everybody, because I just didn't want to get ridiculed about, no, you're bringing the family down to shame, and you're not you know, you're not doing the family justice. You know, you bring shame on us. You know, whatever. I don't know. But no, the truth of the matter is that people go through stuff. You know, that was just my struggle. That was what I went through. I don't know what you've gone through. Maybe it's something similar. Maybe you lost both parents, not one. And maybe you have both parents, but they and you just are unhappy because of your situation. Maybe they do things to you and they shouldn't be doing. But I gotta tell you, man, get yourself. First, you gotta get yourself right. Seek yourself inside. Find a corner, find a closet, and pray. You know what I'm saying? That's what I do. I started doing that at my senior year. Started praying a lot, and I honestly say that I've learned that your mouth can bring a blessing and a curse, or your tongue can. It's very powerful, and so I want you to be encouraged and speak goodness into your life and into others. So until then, if you want to book me, DM me, let me know where I need to go, and me and my team will be out there. So thanks for listening. Remember to be a voice. First of all, you got to find your voice and be a voice for those who don't have one. Peace out.